Okay, this is the story of how I met David Bowie. 1972, I think it was. 73, probably. I was about 22. I was in a tiny little apartment. We'd just come back from Bolivia with a... Hey, buddy. We had just come back from Bolivia, and had a bunch of coke, and I was supposed to sell it. And if I didn't sell it, my boss was gonna fire me, probably. He trusted me so far. Anyhow, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I was lying there, depressed because I didn't have a good buyer yet. And the phone rings at 5 o'clock, and it's this guy that a couple of years younger than me. He'd buy $50 worth. Sometimes he'd pay, sometimes he wouldn't. He was not the most reliable person. Not somebody you would listen to on serious matters. So he says he knows somebody in the roadies in Boston that are setting up the equipment for David Bowie. If you have some cocaine, he'll let us in the room. I guess I got excited, and I did it. I weighed up an ounce, and I shoved it down my underwear like an idiot. I put it in my underwear. I could have put it in my pocket. Could have put it in a suitcase, a little bag or something. Wrapped up in underwear. No, I stick it in my underwear. And I go to the airport, Toronto airport, pre-clearance customs. And the guy says, "Where are you going?" I show him my driver's license. No passports in those days. A driver's license to go into the U.S. I'm going to Boston, I said. Okay, and just go. So I go. I get on the plane. It's about a 2-hour flight. After the first hour, thunderstorms happened. And I mean thunderstorms. The plane was like falling, like 1,000 feet in a jump, swaying and falling, and just going all over the place. They flew in any weather in those days, any weather. I once flew from Israel, and the plane it was a jumbo jet. The plane was flying all over the place. I mean, flying all over the place, and every goddamn person, even the stewardesses were sitting down, and everybody was crying. The woman beside me was bawling. Everybody thought they were going to die. And pilots just flew in that stuff. Now I don't think they're pilots anymore. They just go on cruise control. Anyhow, we landed safely, and they met me at the airport. We jumped in a cab and we went to the Ritz Carlton Hotel, of all places. And we go to the counter and say we're here to see David Bowie. He didn't believe us. So he phoned up, he said so-and-so is here. And he said, just a minute. And the elevator opened up. Up comes a big black guy. Stewie was his name. Stewie. I still remember his name. Nice guy, smiling. Come with me. He stood by the fireplace the whole night, just watching, like we're gonna do something. And David Bowie's just sitting there, curled up like a 90-pound nothing, but it was David Bowie. He'd been snorting coke from a local New York guy. His name was also David. And I'm sure it was going to be crap because my stuff was straight from the lab in Bolivia. Not cut, nothing. So he snorted some of that guy's stuff, and then I handed my stuff to David Bowie. He took a snort and never touched the other guy's stuff again. And then he told stories about his village. There was a guy that they called the Elephant Man. He told us stories of what he wanted to do in the future, what kind of routines he wanted to do, wear pinstripe suits, sing on stage with Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, things like that. And he eventually did do that. He was telling us what he was going to do. We said, no, what do you got to be Ziggy Stardust forever. So anyhow, he treated us just like as friendly as can be, like we were just three other people. And he snorted until there was nothing left, and he realized it was 6:30 in the morning. He's got to get some sleep before the show. So he politely asked us to leave, I guess. We left. And we stayed the night. I wanted to at least get some money, which I never got. There was nobody to get the money from. I didn't care. Well, I did, but now I had to go back to Toronto and really find a way to sell this stuff, or I'm just gonna be fired. It eventually worked out.